Well, yeah, and you also can sort of ride the wave of sustainability and that whole buy local approach to say, the pumpkins are in season here in Londonderry, and so now we have this, thing, going on. So yeah, you could. I mean, strawberries come out. You've got 6 weeks of strawberry season, give or take, depending on how cold the spring is. But I grew up in Michigan, Jason, so similar season,
similar climate. Yep.
Yeah, you're a little further north than where I. Well, actually, no, I was in northwestern Michigan, so about the same. So yeah, strawberries would come in, sometime in May and go until towards the end of June. And so you get 4 to 6 weeks of strawberries. So if you're doing a session mead, you could conceivably grab your strawberries as soon as they come in, do your session mead, and have that puppy on the market before the strawberries are done.
Right.
Exactly.
Which would inspire people to, oh my God, this is a bottle full or a glass full of fresh strawberry hydromel. I got to go pick some strawberries.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So everybody wins. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Where do you get your strawberries from? Oh, they're right down the street. You can go pick them there between 7 and 12 tomorrow. And I think that seasonality and being able to harness that will definitely create that community. It's that last leg of the community. Like I can get people to come into a tasting room, I'm sure, with all kinds of things.
Oh yeah.
But that seasonality is going to draw people in and be really interested. Okay, we know what's coming into season next. What is Ancient Fire going to do with it this year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. No,
and I'll certainly use those products in the stronger, sweeter meads, but that there's no instant gratification there. Like, yeah, guys, that'll be 4 months down the line. Sorry. You know what I mean? You're celebrating Christmas, and I'm talking about blueberries, right? You know what I mean? But that's just the way that is if I do it that way. But if we pour that into the session mead, I can have the blueberry stuff in your hands, 2 weeks after the kids have gone back to school.
Exactly, yeah. Which here, the blueberries come in July, just saying, down in the south. But, okay, Matt had to come back with a smart aleck remark. Matt, I'll see you at the Mazer Cup, and I will smack you. You're gonna get the nozo, just saying.
Alrighty.
He says hydromel equals low ABV. Session meads equals easy drinking. There is a difference. See you at the Mazer Cup. It's like, yeah, but there is definitely that. Session meads are low ABV meads that are easy drinking. So there, yeah, neener.
Yeah, and I'm not. I would make no argument whatsoever about that. We've got multiple terms. We're sort of mixing modes with them these days.
We are.
And I think some people would get very pedantic about it and say, well, no, it's this, it's versus that. I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to use whatever works best.
If somebody
consumer.
comes in
I guess if you have a really, really strong liver, you could have a session made at 12 and 14%, but you have a really strong liver.
You'd have to be really
Hell of a session.
Right, yes, yes.
Now we've got Joel in Australia is saying, what size bottles are you using for your hydromels versus what you'd use for full strength, and why?
Yep. So plan is so 500 milliliter, or for the U.S. audience, is a 16.9 ounce bottle. So you may be familiar with those. Why are you guys laughing?
Because you're jumping back and forth without effort, and the two people that are not in this country.
Happy.
Yeah.
Because you were being precise.
Yeah, because
they
have
just
to
say pints.
They pick on me because I can't do the calculations in my head. So.
500 mils is a pint.
Yep, that's true. Yeah, the 0.9 ounces, we can just shave that off. It's not that.
It's
only
last
precise.
Swallow, dude. Really? I mean, yeah,
True.
You want that.
It's exactly halfway. Well, not exactly, but it's very close to halfway between an English pint and a US pint. So it's a pint, damn it. It'll do.
Oh dear God.
So that's the goal for the session meads and the ciders. It's a little bit bigger than your half size wine bottle, so your 375 milliliter, and because we're talking lighter, lower ABV, that feels like the right size bottle to put that in. So I know, folks at Bee Nectar and several others are using that size bottle for a lot of their carbonated product. I think. On the stronger side, most likely going to go with the 375s. And I think part of that is going to be cost. I mean, you can do a 750 mil with that, but you pretty much know where your price point's going to be, and it's out of reach for some people. They don't want to commit to a 750 milliliter bottle at $38, but they'll buy the half size one for half the price, right? And I think accessibility is one of our goals. So I wouldn't want to put it in large format bottles unless, of course, there's an audience for it, which I do see quite a few meaderies out there that have larger format bottles, but they also in some cases are putting 9 and 10% ABV in there instead of 15. So there are some factors there, but my goal is 500 milliliter for the lighter and 375 for the stronger and sweeter. And my reasons are it just feels right from a price point, and a value proposition for the customer. Yeah. And we're also going to do growlers out of the tasting room. So, I'm hoping to do, 1 quart and 2 quart growlers as well. So for the ciders and the session meads, that's actually your optimal price point, is to buy it that way. 'Cause you're renting, you're paying for the glass once, and you're getting a fresh fill every time you come in. Ideally, I'd like to sell most of my session meads and ciders that way, because I think that promotes the whole freshness concept.
Yeah, I think you're right. Now I've seen more and more of the crowler, that giant growler size can.
Yep.
Yeah, that's picking up speed right now, more in the beer community than in the mead community, but there are mead makers who are using it, and that's an interesting piece of equipment because it is a one-use thing. Once you open that can, you better drink that stuff.
It really sounds like a big commitment.
Well, the machine itself, from a professional standpoint,
to open a can that big.
It is a big commitment, yeah, because it's the size.
Because I can't drink that much. That's party size.
Yeah, it's like a quart of mead in a can. Like, imagine a beer can, but a quart, and it's it's like that.
Yeah, and I think that's why the 1 quart and the 2 quart reclosable containers, we feel like that's going to be the optimal way for people to get at it. You can open that, you can pour off a pint of it, you can close it back up. You got a couple more days until you're probably going to lose all the carbonation at that point, and then yes, a quart is close to a liter. That is correct. I need the conversions there.
You gotta learn not to watch that too closely on the feed, because I'll get sidetracked in the middle of a sentence by that crap. Especially
I'm Canadian. We don't. I'm Canadian. We don't do pints and quarts. Those are measurements I am not familiar with. It's ounces I can do, but
4/6 of a liter, so it's not quite a liter.
Yeah, it's just off from a liter. I use them pretty well interchangeably unless I'm making bread, in which case I usually don't do that because you got to be more precise. But,
it's like my Canadian gallon is 4 liters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you that reclosable container, you've got a few days after you open it that it'll stay just like beer. Ideally you open it, you got your friends around, you kill it that night, but if you're opening it up the next day or the day after, it bears some resemblance to it. You're going to lose some of your carbonation. A lot of places are doing cider in that format around here, so again, a couple of days. It's the best value proposition for the customer. It's the best price per ounce to be able to get it. So if you're prepared to drink, a quart or 2 quarts of it yourself or with friends over the next couple of days, I think it's going to be an optimal way to go. But if a bottle is the thing that you need to have, at that point, 500 milliliters is perfect. It's 2 half pints for 2 people or 1 whole pint for somebody. And, that I think that will probably work for quite a few people as well.
Yeah. 2 people can pretty much clean it up, which is nice.
Yep, yeah, I've gotten good at killing those 500 milliliter bottles from Bee Nectar these days because I've been doing a product research. Yeah, they're about single serving size, seems about right.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Seems like it. That's why I was the Utopia number 9 and the 375. I was like, but that's only a glass each. Wait, what? It's like I wasn't done yet.
It's a strong glass though. That's for sure.
Yeah, it makes you feel pretty good. That's no question about it. But yeah, and the Heart of Darkness that comes in a 500 ml. So I'm just gonna have to save that now and bring it with me to Florida, I guess. Hamish is speechless. Oh my god. Is the sky falling? He's gonna hit me later.
Not if you have Heart of Darkness. You might.
Yeah, no, I'll bring it. You know, I'm gonna see if I can lay my hands on another bottle. He's got a new batch coming out in a couple of months. So.
Yeah, the high end, the whale meads these days. It's really interesting to see
meads, I love it.
the brisk business that's going on with those these days. I don't know what to make of it. I don't think it's a bad thing. You know, that there's quite a secondary market for it, but I just don't know what to make of it. I don't know if there are people that are sure they have to have it, but then are also willing and sure that they need to part with a good deal of money as well. Like, you know.
I had Ken transported a bottle across the country for me, and I paid him in person. You know, for his, and was happy to do it, and because I've had the Heart of Darkness, and OMG, to me it's totally worth it. Now, would I buy that, you know, every month? No. A, that wouldn't be available, and B, I can't afford that. But you know, when I have the money, you better believe if I've got a couple $100 laying around and it just happens to be available, I will seriously consider that. It's worth it. And there's a tertiary market, for those that may or may not be aware of it, where the whale meads get traded for 3, 4, 5, and even 10 times their value.
Yeah.
So you're talking about paying $800-900 for a bottle of HOD.
Yeah. and I love the concept of what that means for what people are willing to do for personal enjoyment, you know, and you know, thinking about putting product out on the marketplace. Boy, wouldn't that be a great situation to find yourself in. The flip side is that you're only getting what you actually ask for it, you know, and you wonder whether there are people out there that what they're paying for it, do they actually know what they're getting? Are they sure that they need to spend that kind of money on it?
Or are they just buying the Dom Perignon of mead, you know, and because they could say, I have a bottle of whatever.
Yeah.
And those people are out there.
Yeah. And there's such a broad range of mead out there. You know, there's so much out there it's, you know, if I had $800 or $900, I would buy a lot of different stuff just because I'd want to go for the broadest amount of experience and taking in all of the creativity that the industry has to offer. But I also have that perspective that I want to know what all of these people that I aspire to follow in their footsteps, what they're doing. Yeah. And you know, so I have a different objective. I mean, I don't line up for beer either. I never have. I mean, I've been beer for a decade, 15 years. I've never lined up for beer either. But I don't disparage anybody who does, because they have different motivations from me. When my brew club, when somebody brings one of these whale beers that I would have to line up for, that I'm pretty sure they did, I try it and I appreciate their offering it and I thank them for being able to do that. But it's definitely just not how I've done that. But on the flip side, am I going to have a line out my door someday?
Yeah, and you might have a whale mead. You know,
it would be a wild concept. I guess it would be one measure of saying I had done something good. I think it's one.
You have arrived.
Measure. There's I've arrived. People want to line up outside my door. You know,
okay. Let's roll this back for a second. Now let's take, for example, Be Nectar. Okay, they don't have any whale meads. Okay, they're all reasonably priced meads, and yet every time they do a new release, line out the door. You know, for regular old meads, many of them session meads. So, you know, it's a matter of making a really good mead.
I think that's probably a community thing. You know, if I understand the vibe, you know,
they've definitely got a following, but that happened very fast through word of mouth because it was good. Yep. I mean, that's the thing. You wouldn't have a community if it wasn't worth having a community for.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And that would be I would rather have that line out the door. I would rather have a line out the door for people who genuinely wanted to be in the tasting room. That, you know, you're not open yet. Please open your door right now. I want to come in and hang out. You know, and for
take my money, please.
Yeah, and you know, for my sour blood orange hydromel that I have on tap, you know, it's light, refreshing. It's nothing huge. It's good. Maybe it's great. I'll let people decide that for themselves. But I would never try to make that something that it wasn't, which is not a big, super strong, high alcohol mead. It's never going to present itself to you that way. But I hope people would enjoy it just as much. And if people want to line up out the door for that, so they can come in and get like your fresh keg. We know you have a fresh keg of it today.
Tap that.